Hello and welcome to the SUTV show. It's already been a busy week for the Blades. New manager Chris Wilder has his first game in charge under his belt. We'll be reflecting on that performance against Liverpool in midweek. Brentford are in town this weekend. Another full house expected at Bramall Lane. We'll be looking ahead to that match. We'll be hearing from defender Anel Ahmedhodzic. And as always, I'm joined by former Blades striker Carl Asaba. Delighted to have you with us as always, Carl. But let's start with that game against Liverpool on Wednesday night. What were your thoughts on that performance?
I thought the performance was really excellent. To think after the game we're deflated because we feel we could have got something from that and should have got something from it because we had the chances, we caused them problems. You saw Klopp was, he was really stressed on the touchline because it wasn't a walk in the park. Our boys put in great effort. The structure of the formation, they couldn't break us apart. It was just so many pluses.
So many pluses, not least in playing personnel as well. We saw players move to different positions. Obviously, Andre Brooks got his full Premier League debut. Will Asula started up front. Which players stood out for you?
As a team, they stood out. I thought Trusty, left back against Mo Salah, was just wonderful. Completely what we've been lacking the past 3 or 4 performances from the wide defensive positions, actually engaging and putting pressure. Whenever the ball went to Salah, Trusty was right there and making him go backwards, not passive and letting them come out. And I thought he was brilliant. And he even got to a stage in the second half, he's stepping into midfield. It was brilliant from him. I thought Andre Brooks was outstanding.
Obviously a big night for him as well, full Premier League debut.
And I think he was cramping up because of the work rate, and that's what you want to see. The players cramping up, giving their all. So many good performances. Bogle at right back, Anel and Robbo took on, the extra pressure of being a 2 and committing, and I just thought it was really good. Young Will Asula, you know what I think of Will Asula. I just think he's a shining light. Worked his socks off. There were moments of magic. One bit in the first half where he's taken a great touch, going towards the touchline, and then a deft touch with the outside of his foot that set Cameron off. And Cameron was just like he was a thorn in their side. He was so industrious and unfortunate not to score.
And a big night, obviously, for Vinny Souza as well. I know you and Paul Walker caught up with him on the SUTV post-game show. Go on to Sheffield United's YouTube channel to see that interview if you haven't already done so. But he was named man of the match for the game, and it was an award well earned.
Yeah, he was colossal. He's got the stature, he's got the physical attributes that you want as a defensive enforcer, and I spoke to him about that, and he wants to dominate. He said he's been upset with previous performances and he wanted to give this sort of performance. What's exciting me is what Chris and their coaching staff can make Vinny into, because he's a young lad who just wants to improve. They know how to make good players, strong players, feared players. He's up there already in the tackles. What he's going to become, it's really exciting.
Yeah, certainly a big night and a big performance for Vinny Souza. It was a big night as well for Anel Ahmedhodzic, and he's looking ahead to the game against Brentford now. Anel, thanks for joining us here on the SUTV show. Obviously, one game into the new manager, Chris Wilder, being in charge here. It was a big game as well on Wednesday night against Liverpool. How was that first and foremost for you?
For me, it was special because for the first time in my career, I wore the captaincy, and it was a big honor, and I just knew straight away I had to take more responsibility. And we saw yesterday our performance was much better than it's been before, and it was a good bounce from the last couple of weeks we had with our performances, which haven't been great. And yeah, it was good to see the fight we had yesterday.
Yeah, and on that note, what was the key difference for you? What did you feel was different about the game? Coming against a team who are going to be challenging for the Premier League title this season, there seems to be more structure, and certainly you're in the game right to the end.
Yeah, I think the main point was to not drop down so deep, so that our midfielders and attackers can get a press on the ball. And I think yesterday, even with the young lads, we showed we showed matureness with choosing when to press and when to lay off a little bit. But even when we set off a little bit, we were sitting off high, so we weren't low and allowing them to have the ball and giving them so much space. And like the gaffer said, if you defend low, they only need like 10-15 yards to get through on goal. So I think mine and Robbo's main job yesterday was to keep us high.
Now, I'll let you into a secret. Leading up to the game on Wednesday night, Carl was like a cat on a hot tin roof. He was excited at the prospect of what we might see. I know he's desperate to get in. So, Carl, the stage is yours.
Well, what was the first training session like? Was it really intense?
Yeah, everyone wants to show off how good they are, and yeah, it was very intense.
Because you must have heard a lot about what the manager had done previously and the high demands on the players on the pitch and on the training field.
Yeah, I had heard a lot about him. Also, I watched the games from before when he used to be the coach here and in the other clubs he was in. But yeah, certainly high intensity and energy.
What are you looking? Are you looking for a personal development? Are you hoping he can obviously he's seen a lot in you already to make the statement he did and to give you the position he did in his first game. Are you hoping he develops what side of your game? Aggression, passing, creativity, or what are you hoping he can do for you?
I think I'm grateful for what he's showed me. I want to pay back to him on the pitch. I think the main point, what I've lacked this season was the aggression I used to have, and I think he's the correct person to.
Is that fatherhood? Is it fatherhood that's bringing out the gentler side?
It'll be those sleepless nights, won't it?
Maybe, but I think we're on a good way now to get back the aggression and to get even more aggressive and more hard, if you will.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because a lot's happened since you joined Sheffield United at the start of last season. Obviously, winning promotion, you became a father for the first time as well. How do you feel all of that has changed you now that you're plying your trade in the Premier League?
I think one big positive of this is when you have bad performance and stuff like that, and you come home to your baby, it brings you into a better mood. Because if I didn't have my wife or my son there, I don't know what I would have done. I would have gone crazy, because we've had a lot of setbacks this season, and I think the biggest positive is coming home to that. But the best feeling is after a good performance, coming home to the family.
And I know you were saying your son now 7 months old. I imagine changing, growing all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a kid, so I'm growing with him. But yeah, it gives you a lot of new worries in life. I think everyone who's had a kid knows it's the best thing, but also the most hardest thing ever.
I was going to say, don't mention the word worry. Carl has plenty to worry about all the time. It's not just the kids, is it, in the family, Carl?
Jesus, let's just focus on football. Back to the football and last night. Were you surprised how quickly, as you said, you've had one session, but the shape the whole team were able to maintain against one of the best teams in the country? You had young Brooks come in, and he just man-marked their player out of the game, and you guys must have been just communicating so well.
I think it shows the discipline of our team, of the lads. When we're on it, I think we can be a really good team in this league and challenge anyone for points, which we did show yesterday. I think the gaffer has a good way of showing his plan. We worked on it, although we didn't have much time. But I think the points he wanted to give us came across well, and I think everyone took it on board.
Talk to us a little bit about that, because there's a change in formation as well. Some players played a little bit out of position. Austin Trusty moved to left back, and yet there was a feeling, certainly from where I was sat watching the performance, that there was a complete buy-in from the players.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you know the players, you know, there was only one player that was really out of position. That was Cameron Archer. He's not really a winger. He's more of a striker. But I think everyone was playing in a position they played before. I think everyone's played for at the back. I think the plan he gave us, I think everyone bought into it well because it was clear.
Did you find the four at the back easier against Liverpool, but was it easier for you to understand what to do? You know, when there's three centre halves, I find sometimes there's too many cooks and you let someone else do the job instead of when there's two centre back, one of you marks and you know you're tight and you know what to do. Did you find it easier to that sort of way?
I wouldn't say it's easier. It's different. Of course, I've played more four at the back in my career. Although I've played three at the back also quite a lot. But I think four at the back is more gives you more responsibility as one of the two centre backs, and I think that's what I need to show more responsibility and to lead the team.
But I thought that was something that we did need, because if you look at the makeup of our players, yourself and Robbo, you're honest. You know, you tell you to do something, you stick to the task, and I thought we'd benefit from doing that, and it showed. You guys took the responsibility on your shoulders and put in wonderful performances against one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, of course. When you're one of two centre backs, you have to take the responsibility, and I think as the gaffer said yesterday after the game, to not let it be a one-off bounce performance. Yeah. You know, we need to keep showing it. We need to keep doing it. We need to go even harder.
And what a special place Bramall Lane is. It's not many grounds you go to where you've been beaten at home and you get a standing ovation from the fans. That just shows the respect and what they saw. You know, they saw the work rate and the effort you guys put in yesterday, and they fully respected it. How did it come over? Did the connection feel there again with the fans?
No, of course. Like I said, the games before, we hadn't shown passion, we hadn't shown aggressivity, we hadn't shown any will to play. It was completely lackluster efforts, and obviously, if I was a fan watching my club play, I'd be nuts. I would go nuts. I would swear everything. I would do anything. I would. But if my team, obviously, not has the financial things like the other clubs have in the league, but does what they can, and shows passion, shows commitment, shows aggressivity and lust to play. I would be happy that they show that, you know.
Well, on that note then, Anel, we're back at Bramall Lane this weekend. Brentford are in town. What's the message to the fans that are going to come to watch the game? What's the message to your teammates now as we look to get that second win of the year?
The lust will be there, the passion will be there, and the hard work will be there. It will be a game of high energy and high intensity.
We certainly look forward to it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us. Anel Ahmedhodzic, great to have you with us. Let's also hear from one of Anel's teammates now as we look forward to the game against Brentford. Here's Gustavo Harmer.
What about your own game, Gus? First season in the Premier League, how do you feel you've made the transition from Championship football?
Well, I just spoke with the assistant manager, to be fair, and I said to him, the weird thing for me from the Premier League is you play less games in the Championship, but the intensity is so much higher. It's through the roof, and I think that is the hardest thing to work with. But then the equipment you got here at the club is like, everything is about recovery. Everything is doing about like your body. You know your body yourself the best, of course, but they're doing everything in their power to making sure you're back for the game on Saturday while you play on Wednesday. So I think in that way the Premier League is so much harder than you actually think it is. It's so much quicker. It's like we played on the counter yesterday, and I think we did a good job. But like even Liverpool was really good in counters. Well, we had set pieces, how to sprint back the ideas, because like one ball and they're in front of your goal. And at this level, that can be a goal. Like 90% of the times, if you make a mistake, it's a goal. And I think that's the biggest difference for me.
I suppose a personal highlight will be scoring on your debut against Forest. That was quite a moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course. If you come into a new team, you want to have some impact. You want to help the team, and you want to show why you got bought for, why you got brought in for. And then if you score, of course, the first goal what's the 1-1 I think, is not a bad start.
You were born in Brazil, grew up in Holland. Do you bring a mixture of those two sort of footballing cultures to your own game?
I think so. I think the aggressivity I bring, and at the same time the calmness with the ball, I think I'm bringing a bit of both. I always want to press, I always want to go, I never give up, and I think that is that South American. You can see it with the other players, with Vinny with us, he's not scared of a challenge, he's not scared, he will never give up. And I think that's a South American thing, to like always go and always do your thing and always work as hard as possible.
That work ethic will always be there, but is the role tweaked slightly now there's a new manager?
Yeah, with Heki I played higher up on the left, and now I played more as an 8, what is more personally my favourite position. So you will do other jobs, you have to do another job. So yesterday I was running after McAllister instead of running after the Trent I actually would do with Heki. So I think it's just a different role, but I think that is more my position because I play always there.
How do you see the battle ahead? It's a busy December, and obviously you've got to start winning games. What's your view of that scrap down the bottom?
Yeah, of course we have to win games, and over Christmas, of course, it's going to be a busy time. And you got Luton on Boxing Day, what is going to be massive for us, of course. But I think we just have to keep our heads together, have to be calm, and I think if we fight every week like this, then, or every midweek as well, I think the results will come by themselves.
Have you turned a corner, do you feel, after the real low, I guess, against Burnley? A new manager comes in, all of a sudden there seems to be a bit more belief that you can do it.
Yeah, of course. What I said, like with a new manager, you got everybody wants to work hard, everybody wants to show off, everybody wants to do their best thing for the new manager. But it can't be a one-off thing, if you know what I mean. It can't be this is a new manager, so show me the first time and that will be it. So we have to keep this as a minimum, and we have to go even more, because you see even against Liverpool, they still get through us and they still get to counter-attack, so we still need to do even more than now. But personally, I never look too much forward, like, oh, what if. I think if we play our games and then we look game for game, like now we got Brentford, then I think we will be fine.
So the thoughts of Gus Harmer heading into this weekend's game, Carl. Look, having had Liverpool at the Lane on Wednesday night and everything that comes with them, Brentford can't be overlooked, because they seem to, every season that they've been in the Premier League, they seem to have somehow gone to another level, got better.
Yeah, you go from the glitz and the glamour where it's an automatic raise your game to play Liverpool. Brentford, as you can't be underestimated. They embody everything that we should be aiming to do in the short term. You know, they got into the Premiership. They made it difficult for other teams to play. They've added to their squad, and their recruitment's been brilliant. But there's always a hunger. You know, the Brentford team, if you beat them, and you can beat them, you do it with honesty. You must have honesty in your team. And, you know, this is what the management team are wanting to instill. You know, there's a certain unnegotiable which you have to provide, and Brentford always do that. It's going to be a really good stern test for us.
Mid-table at the moment. They have had their issues, though, this year when they've played away from home. Of the 7 games, they've lost 4 of them, including, of course, on Wednesday night when, having taken the lead, they ultimately lost to Brighton. So what does our attitude have to be on Saturday? We're at home. We've got to have the mentality, we're trying to get the 3 point, and we are. What's really exciting, we don't know what formation or what personnel the manager's going to use. Well, and if we don't, Brentford surely aren't going to either.
But we've got to, you know, we're going to give the fans something to get behind. But what's refreshing is they're going through a bit of an injury crisis. You know, it's not just us.
We can relate to that, can't we?
We know well what an injury crisis can do. They've lost a key. Well, he came off against Brighton and Mbeumo.
Yeah, if he's not fit, you know, he's their top scorer this season. He's got 7 Premier League goals. He came off having already scored on Wednesday night, 5 minutes before half-time. If he's not good to go for them, that gives them something of an issue, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the manager, he's been there a number of years. He knows what he's got. It's not, and they've got more depth than us at the moment. So it will be great for us if he's not playing, but let's don't think, oh, well, it's going to be easy, just turn up. It's going to be a really hard test, whoever they put in. and you know their work rate is going to be there. But they've got some really talented players.
And I suppose from our perspective as well, and for the manager Chris Wilder, this is going to be a big game for him to tell him a bit more about this squad, because a new manager comes in, it's Liverpool at home under the lights, everybody gets up for it, and you have that bouncing performance which we saw. Now I guess Chris is wanting to see what follows.
Yeah, it's not just your technical ability, your physical ability. The mental side in football is as big as anything, and he will learn the characters of his players. It's a huge couple of weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, and we're going to be slap bang in the middle of the transfer window. There's players here who've got to perform, not just in the day in, day out on the training field. You've got to show that you deserve to be part of this group, because Chris is looking one way, he's looking forward, he's a winner. He doesn't want to just maintain, he wants to take the club forward his way, and these boys, every session is going to be key. All of the managerial staff are going to be assessing these players, so training will be fiery.
Yeah, and Chris said that, didn't he, on Tuesday as much. He's here to win games. It's what he feels he does best. So let's hear from the man himself then, as he prepares this team to take on Brentford this weekend.
There's been the massive volume of 2 days training since then. So what's kind of been the plan over the course of these
not really.
couple of days?
Recovery day. So, of course, if it was a free week, we'd want to train, and we'd want to pick that up and get more ideas into the players. But it's the same. It's 1 day's training really. Recovery day yesterday. 1 day's training again today. Very light because we don't want to use all our energy on the training ground. We want to use it for a Saturday afternoon because we'll need it.
You mentioned about having a certain way of playing because Liverpool and they dominate the ball. Might Brentford provide more of an opportunity, if you like, for Sheffield United to get on the ball?
Well, yeah, I think that Liverpool dominate every opposition. So, Brentford would have felt that when they played them. They played them a couple of weeks ago, so they all do because of the quality and the fantastic players that they've got and the way they're tuned to the way they play because they've been doing it for so long now. But another team that yet again works incredibly hard out of possession and in possession, so those stats don't change. But in terms of us, I think that without being disrespectful, we might have a little bit more of the ball, and we have to make ourselves have a little bit more of the ball by being aggressive, by winning duels, by winning first and second balls, and then having the courage and bravery to play. One of my little disappointing things that we talked about and criticism of the team on Wednesday night at half time was that we need to be a little bit more braver in possession and more step into the game. It is really difficult when you play Liverpool. It is really difficult when the manager wants a really fast start. So now the key is can we take ourselves out of that sort of mindset of being aggressive, really intense in getting that ball to then be a little bit more in control and have a little bit more control of the game. So we'd like to think that we'll have a little bit more of the ball against Brentford, and hopefully we can create a few more chances.
So there we are, the thoughts of the manager Chris Wilder heading into this weekend's home game against Brentford. He's set. You've got to believe from what we've heard through Gus and Anel Ahmedhodzic, the players are set. Are you ready?
I'm excited. I get giddy anyway. But it's a tough one. This is a really tough match against Brentford. But I know the players will have been itching to get in the day after the game because there's all the talk of the new manager and he's distant. Straight away after one game, they will have bought straight into this. If we follow what this man's telling us to do, we can get results. So everyone will be open-eyed, they'll be bright-eyed, excited to follow the managerial staff, and myself included. I can't wait to get here Saturday to see how the boys perform.
And neither can I. We'll be back at pitchside Saturday afternoon following the game. You can hear the thoughts of Carl Asaba and myself after Sheffield United have met Brentford this weekend at Bramall Lane. Fingers crossed, we may well be talking about the first victory of Chris Wilder's second reign in charge of Sheffield United.